Well, welcome to our Around the World in 80 Rocks, Fossils, and Formations. This is Africa Part 2, in case you forgot where we were in the world. I'm Roseann Hanson. If you're new, I run the Exploring Overland and our magazine Exploration Quarterly with my husband, Jonathan. I teach in my Field Arts Institute, field sketching, nature journaling, all sorts of fun things to do outdoors, animal tracking. It's all part of being a naturalist and a nature journaler. So for our geology sessions, our rocks, fossils, and formations, these are just a reminder. Remember, what is a rock? Rocks are made up of minerals. Minerals are elements such as iron, magnesium, calcium, silicon, etc. Minerals become rocks through the formation processes in the earth. I love this quote. Think of minerals as the cooking ingredients and rocks as the finished dish. And that's a wonderful geologist artist, Rocha Hebel. And we have igneous rock types, the three major types, metamorphic and sedimentary. And we're going to see, I think, all three of those today. And I have to do my joke. Somehow this started a few sessions ago. I know what happens when you find yourself reading geology jokes. You've hit rock bottom. Sorry, I could not. I know I couldn't help it. Okay, where are we going to start? So we're going to the upper northern half of the continent. And we're going to start in the area between Chad and Sudan. Most of what we're going to do today is in the Sahara. Look at this satellite view from NASA. This is called the Enedi Massif. This is an enormous rock, Precambrian granite rock formation that's overlain by sandstone. It's massive, 23,000 square miles, but it also has perennial and semi-perennial springs and pools. You can see one here. Those are camels coming in to drink at one of those pools. And interestingly, much of the sand in the Sahara has been generated by the dust, the weathering in what's called the Tibesti-Enedi Triangle. So I picked out this formation because it shows quite a bit of what's known as the rock, the sandstone in the Enedi Massif. And it will be a good place to start. Okay, no, come back. Yeah. Sorry, I'm having lots of interesting technical issues today. My camera keeps disconnecting, and if it keeps doing it, I'll have to switch to another camera. Do let me know if my little talking head covers the drawing area. But we're going to start with, I think what I'm going to do is move my mouse out of the way first. I'm going to do light sketches in pencil. I'm going to put my sketch in here. You can do yours any way you want. And what I'm going to do is focus on the mushroomy rock. And then I'm going to do the cliffs in the background lighter. And so my subject is going to be this mushroom. And so we're going to do this quickly. And right now I'm just roughing in the pedestal. And then I'm going to measure it using that technique where you use your pen to make sure I get the proportions right. So I'm putting my pencil, I'm just measuring the distance from the base to the bottom of the mushroom. And interestingly, comparing it, this is the same measurement as the width of the mushroom. So that will help us to get our proportions right. So when you draw your mushroom, just make sure that, oops, see, I got it a little bit too big. Or I can extend maybe I'll just extend the base a little bit, like so, just so we get those proportions right. This is invaluable in the field, so you can really get better at quick sketching. Oh dear, this iPhone's making me crazy today. So I'm just going to do a rough edge of the rock. This comes down like that. It meets up the base of the rock like so. We're going to make this quite dark though. And then it's almost like some baked good. It's got all these layers. Just don't worry about being exact. We're trying to capture the essence here of this rock. Oh dear. I do apologize for our little in and out camera. So it appears to be coming back. So I'm not going to switch to my other camera yet because this is a much better picture. All right. So we've got our mushroom here. I'm going to do, even though I can't really see it, I'm going to do a little bit of a base here for the rock, just something for it to sit in, even though we can't really see it. This looks like a little man standing with this little kind of belly, and there's even like little eyeballs if you use your imagination. And then, now I'm not going to go crazy with the background. You could spend eons doing this. So give yourself just a little bit of, to give it some depth and just show that this is in the foreground. We'll do a few of the tortillus acacias here, the trees. We'll hit these with some color to show their trees too. Don't have to go crazy. Okay, and then I've got the formations are going to be coming in like so. And I'm doing them very light because I don't want them to be the subject. Now, you could do this any way you like. We are capturing, not copying exactly here. So what I'm doing is just, I want to get the essence of those really cool sandstone formations. Standing kind of proud there. A little bit of detail. And then what I'll do, rather than, remember, I don't want to do this, spend ages of time on this. So I'll hit this with watercolor and really use the watercolor to get the detail here. Here's our boulders and rocks. See how I'm just like messy, messy, messy. Here. Okay. We'll go in. Before I get to the watercolor, I'm going to remember to label this number 1. This is the Anedi Massif. That's 2 ends. Oh dear, there's my camera again. Please come back. It wants to go to sleep. There we go. Come on. Okay. Come on. Thank you, iPhone. And we'll get some details as well. So this is sandstone over Precambrian granite. and the formations are 23,000 square miles or 60,000 square kilometers. Should have reversed that. And it's the source of the sand of the Sahara, most of it. So now I'm going to get my watercolor out. I'm going to refresh it a little bit. I'm going to be using not the water brush today, but travel brushes. So let's give this a quick light wash. I'm just going to use my burnt sienna, getting it wet first so I can do a nice light wash. We're going to want several tones of burnt sienna here. And I want this to be fairly light. Like so. If you want, you can throw some blue behind this to enhance the, it would really make the color pop nicely. But again, I don't want the, oh, this is driving me crazy. Okay. Thank you, iPhone. And then darker here. Interesting formations. So this is sandstone. Now come in here with some neutral tint and really darken that up. I will put, this is going to stay dark. My ink is still a little wet. My pen is being very wet today, so it's not drying quickly. It's very humid in here. And there goes my camera again. So we're just going to have an in and out camera. I'm going to do an extremely light wash in here. Very, very light. May end up being, add a tiny bit of rosy tone to it, just to give it a slightly different tone than the rocks in the background. And it's interesting, this boulder field is a little bit darker, so we can take advantage of that. Like so. And then with the neutral tint, which is such a, this is not really super dry. Yeah, it's picking it up a lot. So when it's not dry and you try to put color over it, it picks up the color underneath. So you won't get a nice coverage. But see how that neutral tint, it's not 100% dark. You know, it's not going to cover up. You can still see the details, which is nice. I will let that dry though, so that we get better coverage. I'll have to come back and hit that with the neutral tint. And then the same thing, we will come in and add our shadows in here to enhance the background, like so. And, maybe give a little bit of, while this is still damp, that works nicely to start just showing a little topography in here. But I'm not going to go too crazy. I want this to stand out. And then the final thing I'll do is mix some dark green using indanthrone and the yellow to give us some of our little acacia trees, like so. And I'll probably hit that with a little bit of the dark blue again, because I want that to be very dark on the bottoms. So they don't look just one color. So that I'm going to leave that like so. Clean my palette and move on. I know we wasted a few minutes at the beginning faffing around trying to figure out the waiting room. Dumb Zoom that you can't change it in midstream anymore. That's not helpful. It's good to know, though, for upcoming sessions. But we're going to move on to our next area. Here we go. Where are we going next? Not too far geographically. We're heading over toward Sudan, between Sudan, Eritrea, to this gorgeous gemstone. This is a Sudanese crystal opal, which is hydrated silica, a mineraloid they're called. So that is its formula there. You can see the hydrated portion here, H2O. It's up to 21% or so water. This is called a crystal opal, as opposed to the more opaque black opals like the Boulder opals, or even a white, fully opaque opal, because this is very, very clear. It has a lot of diaphaneity, how light passes through it. It's fairly hard, like 6.5, but it's brittle, so very hard to work with. So this is also very challenging to sketch, draw, what have you, watercolor. And that is what we're going to play with today. Now, I practiced this one because I really had no idea how this was going to look. So I'll show you some of the versions, because this is going to take you, you're going to need to do a lot of wet and then let it dry and smooth out if you get any hard edges. So what I'm going to do is just kind of lightly sketch the shape here. And then I'll show you some examples. And then we'll start playing with this. And this takes a lot of practice to do this type of watercolor. So don't be upset if it bombs. I'll show you some of my ones that's like, ew, that didn't work. But this gives us a chance to practice. So here's what the two that I did. This one is a bomb. I didn't get the drop-ins quite right. The wet on wet didn't work well. I was trying to use a water brush, which is going to be both harder and easier. It's funny. You can blork a lot of water in quickly, which is really great for these. But if you get too much, this is what happens. It just kind of flooded it and just ruined the effect of the clarity. This one worked a lot better. Is it an exact copy of that? No, but I think it captures the colors and the luminosity pretty well. So what I did to achieve that is, to get my paints going here. We're going to start first by wetting it, not too wet because it's very humid for me here now. So I want to be careful getting when you're doing wet and wet, getting that formula right is just hard. And it takes practice to know, okay, how humid is it? What kind of paper are you using? Is it thirsty paper? Then I'm going to do a wash of very neon-y yellow. I'm going to drop a tiny bit of the cyan, but I want to maintain the yellow. So I'm not going to mix it super well. I want it mottled, and then I'm going to drop it in, leaving that area here open for dropping in the other colors, the purple and the orange. This area here had a lot of the yellow and orange. Now, what I want to do over here, oh dear, okay, come on, come back. Let's see. Please come back. Okay. I guess we just have to accept that this is going to be weird today. I'm going to make some purple with my blue and my magenta. And I hope this is still wet enough. Nope. See that dried? I need to get this a little wetter. And you know what I might do is I might blot this out a little bit because that wasn't quite wet enough. And I want to get this area damp again. Now I'm going to try dropping in just a little bit of the purple. And letting it go ahead and let it bloom a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to grab some orange and start dropping that in. You see how it's nice and wet. It spreads nicely. And yeah, don't worry about doing an exact copy here. We're trying to get the essence of this beautiful colors. Oopsie, now that's too dry here. Don't be afraid to use your tissues. I'm going to drop in. See how nice and damp that is? You want that. Now, I want more of this greeny green. While it's damp, I'm going to run that through. I want more greeny green. Oop, not that green. You know, neon green is not a common paint, right? So there, see how that's going to kind of pop more neon-y. And this, oops, around here. The base. I'm getting wobbly. My gemstone just grew. And then keep dropping in. This is challenging. What other colors do we want to? There's a little bit more purple in here. Let's see if we can Add just a smidge of purple. Looking really messy, but I think it might dry nicely. There's a little bit of purple in here. You can try it or skip it. It's up to you. Use your nice wet brush to try to smooth hard edges. You can also come back in. These are lifting colors. So you want to come back in later. You can smooth that out if you get the hard edges. That's why I use lifting colors. They're much easier to deal with. I'm doing just some pure yellow here. This turned into a strange, I lost my hard bottom edge because of a wobbly hand. And then finally, I need to kind of come in here with some really watered down bluey purple. It's kind of, don't forget to leave, a little bit of white to help show the luminosity. Just a tiny bit. There, I like how that kind of blooms and gives that a little depth. And my kind of fiery orange here just sort of went away. Let's see if I can pull that back in a little bit. This will dry a lot different than we're seeing it now. But I think I'd better wait now. This is not quite dry, wet enough. There, that's better. I'll have to fix this bottom edge using dark because I got wobbly as I went with my brush. So we let that dry and then we can work on it a bit more. I actually went back. Oop, come on, come back. Okay, sorry about that. Hello. Okay. I came back here. If you come back with a wet brush, you can, because these are lifting colors, you can actually move some of this, get rid of some of that hard edge. Be careful though, because the more you mess with your paints, the luminosity goes away. So let's be sure to write in here now what this is. This is number 2. The Sudanese opal, crystal opal. Don't forget the crystal. This is a different type of opal. And it is a hydrated silica. Which is a mineraloid. And it's high diaphaneity. Oops, haha. Meaning very transparent, but it's brittle. These are, I used to, well, I guess I still am. I was a lapidary and metalsmith for a number of years, and opals scared me to death. They are so easy to shatter. And so you got this really expensive rock and you're trying to cut it into a beautiful shape like this. And if you put one tiny minuscule crack in it, remember it's got water in it. It's up to 20% water. It'll just basically drain the luminosity and you'll lose all that color and you'll be left with a clear stone that has nothing in it. All right. whoever's using the chat, I really can. Oh, hi, Barb. Yep, I can barely see the chat when I'm doing this. Barb, I saw that. No worries. You're back. We're glad to have you back.
Thanks. If you want to make me a co-host
Oh,
again.
sure. Let me see if I can find you. Let's see. Oops. There. I have to stop share for just a second. Um, Go ahead and raise your hand, Barb. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to share again. Right. Okay. Here we go. We're going to continue our journey. We're going up north now to Egypt, one of my favorite places in the planet, the White Desert in Egypt. This is an ancient seabed. It's under the Great Sand Sea, 28,000 square miles covering Egypt and Libya. And the White Desert is sedimentary carbonate calcite sandstone formations, and mostly made up of the sand is an old seabed, microscopic plankton, really cool. Sandstone, sorry, is made up of microscopic plankton. It's a national park and really beautiful to visit, home to endangered rim gazelles and Dorcas gazelles, which are vulnerable. We saw foxes, fennec foxes. We didn't see the Barbary sheep, but they're there. So I'm going to flip the page here. I need to put up a protector in because this is still kind of wet. So make sure I got that right. We're flipping the page. And this is going to be, oh, look and see how wet that is. I use 90-pound paper, so we'll come back to the data on this, but I'm going to focus on sketching this formation. You can do it any way you like. If you put in the background, be sure to do it in a lighter way, less paint, faded paint, or even just, when you're drawing, do it much more light. I'm just going to leave it out. You can do anything you want, but let's also check I'm going to start with the base. Oh, the base kind of, I don't like where that is. I'm going to do the base dune here. I'm going to bring it down here. Here's the dune. And then the sandstone comes up like so, comes up the shoulder. We've got a collar. I'm just going to put in I'm doing this very lightly, and then I'm going to check my proportions and do the details second. Come down, there's a little bump. And this comes in like so. This is in moonlight, the picture. There's this really pretty little lip there. You could, really go crazy on the details. You don't need to. We can grab a lot of this detail in the watercolor portion, but I am going to put this kind of rock here because it gives us a place to put some shadow and depth. The dune comes right up to the base of the formation. And then I'm going to remember, if I end up doing it, if I put in the dark blue sky, I made the moon a little bigger so it doesn't look just like lost up there. I have the hardest time like remembering to leave moons and things in when I'm watercoloring. So I'm going to start with that. We'll remember to do our details, our data after. I'm going to pull some of this uh, pencil lead off so it's not quite so obvious. Coming off my palette. This is really going to be largely grays and a little bit of pretty, we'll use a very, 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 very faint burnt sienna. And my camera goes away. It'll be back in a moment. Come on. Oh, Apple. Come on. There we go. It just wants to be tickled every once in a while, apparently. Okay. So this is largely gray, but we know it has some peachy tones in it. I'm going super, super light here. And then I think I'm going to throw in some, just a little bit of neutral tint at the bottom here. Maybe with a tiny bit of the dark, dark blue. And let's get this wet. See how that, we just want some shadows there to give it some color. We want to try to retain that ethereal. Don't color it all in. Leave some blank spots here. And the top here has more color, which seems to be typical. You can see in the formations that the
Roseann, check your phone, please.
There we go. Thanks. The formations have bands in them of different colors, and that is, different parts of the seabeds, I think, as they formed. So we want to try to retain those beds. And then we're going to do the little sand dune here, which is definitely has more pinky reds in it. So you can, I even added a tiny bit of magenta to the burnt sienna wash. And then we'll go in with maybe a little bit of the neutral tint. Oop, that's still way too wet. Definitely don't want to mess with that. I want to slightly define, but we've got a shadow here. Let's see if I can, how wet are you? A little bit too wet. See, that's blooming. But I can clean that up. Neutral tint is easy to lift once it's dried out. So in fact, I'll probably sweep it up here. You can see. And clean up that shadow a bit. See, that's what's nice about using these liftable colors. And we'll pick up a little bit of the neutral tint and give this shoulder some definition there. And a little bit here, because this is a very rounded formation. They're smoothed out by the wind. So we can come in here with a very wet and give this a little bit of shape. Don't want that hard edge, so I'm lifting it out. And just be careful not to fill this in too much with the dark. I think I'll stop there. Adding neutral tint. and then some really almost pure burnt sienna, just a tiny bit. See if we can get this. Oops, still too wet. I can kind of drag that over, but yeah, that was a little too wet. Take your tissue if you don't like that, and you can blot that out. Come back when it's not quite so wet and clean that up a bit. And then the last thing I would do is do the blue around and leave my moon. But I'm going to go ahead and write my data. We want to move on shortly, but you kind of get the gist of how to do those, almost white, not quite white. And the blue around it will enhance that, make it glow a little bit better. So this is called the White Desert. This is number 3. And it's in Egypt. I think I forgot to put the place names. Oops. For the other ones. So this is part of the Great Sand Sea. It's 28,000 miles squared. And it is sedimentary carbonate calcite. Sandstone. That's a mouthful. It's an ancient seabed. Once that dries, I will go ahead and just wash some blue in there around that, and that'll make that little guy pop. Then I can go in and with a very fine brush, I'll add the dark burnt sienna details there and finish that up. But we're going to keep going. So those of you who subscribe to Exploration Quarterly, thank you very much. In the next issue is featured the expedition we did in Egypt, and several of our stops here are from that, and you're going to see the White Desert is in there. And so we're going just a little bit south of the White Desert, still in Egypt. You're going to get to take a trip with me here. This is a video of a very interesting place. We're going to learn something amazing here, but right now I'm taking you on our expedition here. We are driving to a place south of Bahria, and what you see there that we're driving to, I'm going to speed this up. You don't need to sit through all 1 minute of this. Is truly, this is an oasis in the desert, in the middle of the Great Sand Sea. Come on, zoomers. That way you don't have to sit and bounce around the trucks. So you're driving in the middle of absolute Saharan sand, and then boom, this pops up. It's utterly crazy. And this is what we found. Water, flowing water, and this oasis, which is just mind-blowing. Where does this water come from? Because this is what it looks like around it. Amazing, right? What we're experiencing is something called the Nubian Sandstone Aquifer. It is massive. You've got to just wrap your brain around. This is an underground aquifer that covers Egypt, part of Libya, Sudan and Chad. We were up here. We also visited here and here as part of our expedition. It was a photo matching expedition. Here's what it looks like underneath. So we went up to Bahariya. We also were in Dakhla. So north is this way. But you can see these are the recharge zones. Here are the fissures where the water is forced up. And here it is underneath the surface. And it pops up at these oases, Farafra, Bahariya, Dakhla. And it's an incredible resource. Here's what we know about it. It's 36,000 cubic miles. Think about that, of water. That is more water that flows from the Nile River in 500 years. The water is fossil water, it's called, from the last ice age, maybe 200,000 years old. And as I said, it emerges at these fissures. Wow. So how are we going to depict this? Choose what you like. You can draw the oasis, which would be kind of fun, with the palms and the Land Cruiser maybe, or you can do the diagram. I kind of like diagrams, so I'm gonna try for the diagram. Let me make it bigger for us, and we'll go back to the data. So this way, I can show the interesting geology. I mean, you can also just draw the oasis. That's great, and fill in the data. But to know just how massive this is pretty incredible. Think about that. 36,000 cubic miles of water. Okay, so go along here. We're going to do our first oasis here. Come down. Here's our Bahariya. Oops, pink. And then it keeps going toward the top of Egypt. I'm going to put my fissure here. I'm going to, here's my underlying water beds here. You can write in the, do different textures and write in what they are or not. That's entirely up to you, depending on what you want to focus on. I'm not doing an exact, come back. I'm not doing a total 100% copy here, because what I really want to focus on are the oases. So draw your palm trees here. And this is Bahariya. And people have been living here for a very long time. What did it say? Human occupation, Pleistocene, is that right? I have to check that. Don't write that one down. Fear that I might have done a typo there. We will ground truth that. So we were recreating a 1912 expedition paid for by Carnegie from the Desert Laboratory in Tucson, Arizona. And we were following their exact route. They were surveying the deserts. And accompanying us is our good friend, Diane Boyer, who is the great-great-granddaughter of Godfrey Sykes, one of the scientists. So we had his journals. How cool is that? And we photo matched his photography and his sketches along the way. And that's the story in the magazine. is about that expedition. It was amazing, really. Um, for example, this right here is called Bir Tarfawi, and Bir means well. So this was just a little well. We visited one called Bir Dicker, which was closer to, it was between Farafra and Dakhla. Actually, sorry, between Farafra and Bahariya. And it was dry, even though during his time, water was just 15 feet down. There's been a lot of groundwater pumping over the years now that have dried up a lot of these oases. And so we were documenting change over time. Very cool. Just make your little your trees here so you see these are oases, and we'll label them. And feel free to have fun and go ahead and draw the oasis or the water. There were snails, and it was just fascinating.
I'm looking up the history on the Dakhla Oasis.
What did it find?
So it says the prehistory is the first contacts between the pharaonic power and the oases started around 2550 BCE. And human history of the oasis started during the Pleistocene when nomadic tribes settled sometimes there in a time when the Sahara climate was wetter and where humans could have access to lakes and marshes.
So it was Pleistocene, okay.
It was 6,000 years ago, the entire Sahara became drier. So changing to the hyper-arid desert.
Nice, thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Ground truthing that. That's what I love about what we do here is going deep, learning, not just drawing, but we're being naturalists. We're learning as we explore. So this is Bahariya. This is Farafra. And because my pen is being kind of wet today, this is Dakhla. I'm probably not going to be able to color this in as I'd like. Otherwise, it's just going to blah. But definitely you'll want to color these, color code them, even do your textures and label them. So this is the Nubian sandstone aquifer that we're depicting here. And I need to lay down something here so I can write that and not kill it. Because this just blew my mind. And it is 36,000 cubic miles of water. Wow. More than flows. From the Nile River in 500 years. Oops. And it is fossil water from about 200,000 years ago. Last ice age. Sometimes I underline the titles, sometimes I don't. I forget to go back and do so. I think it helps them stand out. I always admire people who do the beautiful beautiful headlines. So that's a fun one, but we're going to keep moving. Where are we going from here? I'm trying to remember. Let's see. We are, oh yeah, heading to Tunisia. Another gemstone. This is a fun one. This is a beautiful blue gemstone called Celestine, celestial, celestis, strontium sulfate. So there's the formula. This one is known from the Hammam Zuraba village in Tunisia, but it is found in sites throughout the world. It's pretty soft, so 3 to 3.5 on the Mohs scale, so you can't cut it, facet it, but it's super popular in that wire wrapped jewelry thing because it's used in, people use these for like healing as a chakra stone. So you'll see that in New Age stores a lot. Let's see. Now you can choose to do the egg or the slice. You can see it grows in different forms. So I kind of like the slice. I think either one is fun to do. So we will put those. I'm just trying to get both of them in sight. This is 5. I think I'll do this slice and do it here, and I'm not gonna be too precious about exact. Remember, we're capturing, we're not trying to do an exact copy, but I'm kind of getting the table on the top, get that edge like that, comes around, comes up like so, and then we have another edge. To what I call the rind of the rock there. Get your shows your crystal structure here. Don't want to do that too heavy. If you're doing the egg, you'll want to leave quite a bit of white on the outside. And then I would focus on just a few of the crystals. Oh, golly. Okay. So there's kind of a step down here. Again, we're just trying to capture, not copy here. And most of this I'm going to get in the watercolor, which let's jump on that. Which one am I going to use? I think I'll do, let's see what I wanted. It's a ultramarine blue would work really well on this, I think. I'm using my very light watery indanthrone and then bumped up a little bit with the little brightness from the cyan. It's got more royal in it, doesn't it? I'm even going to drop a tiny bit of magenta there. See how that roiled it up? That's a verb. So, but first I want to wet this because I don't want a solid swath of blue. I'm going to stripe it in. and retain. You'll want to do the same with the other crystals. You want to retain the some of the white. Go ahead and be a little messy with it. Looks like you could, this pulls up here and it kind of flows. You can see some of the color flowing into here. And then the rind is just kind of this weird amorphous. I'm gonna try for kind of a brown gray. See how I took the burnt sienna, added a little bit of the indanthrone, but trying to keep some of the rock color quality, the rind. Oh, come back, please. Come on. Thank you. You see how that color, I'm dropping it in wet. So I like that effect right now. Make some more. So a little bit of burnt sienna, indanthrone, mix it up really well, pretty wet. Yeah, I like the way that's blooming. And then take some of the blue. Go away. Thank you. Brighten up that. I don't think I got enough of the blue. Can always come back and hit it with white gouache if you mess up. No reason to be a purist, right? We're here to observe and learn, not be, we need to be kind to ourselves if we mess up. I'm gonna let that dry. And don't forget, always coming back to add some shadow. So for example, just grabbing a little bit of that neutral tint. Don't forget to like come in and make this look, give it depth by putting a shadow under it. So it looks like it's sitting on your paper. I really like the neutral tint for that. And you can, water down the edge a little bit if you want. Don't make it quite so sharp. Softer shadow. All right, I'm going to let that dry. Don't forget to label. This is blue Celestine, number 5. All right, and we will, it'll be back momentarily. Okay, this is from Tunisia. Oops, got a little close there. It is the formula SRSO4. Oops. That is strontium sulfate. And it's soft. We remember it's 3 to 3.5 on the Mohs. So once that's dry, I can come back. I'll use neutral tint and more of the royal blue and enhance that. But don't forget to retain the bright whites on that. So that will get better after it dries. And this is now dry, so I could go back and fix that or color that in. But we do have to keep moving because we have 3 more to do. And we're catching up on time. That's good because I don't like to go too far over. There's some really cool stuff left to come, though. For example, we're heading over to Western Sahara, Mauritania area. Okay, this is a video, so this is going to start moving. This is something called the Rishat structure. And look at this here. Whoa. It's known as the Eye of Africa. It is a geologic feature on the northwestern edge of the Tudeni Basin in the Sahara, and it's in Mauritania. Here's another image of it looking more blue. I think this is just a relic that's not water. And here's an enhanced NASA photograph just to kind of help show some of the topography. I really liked this one. Really shows how this is formed and what we've got here. So it's 25 miles in diameter. So it is an igneous intrusion deforming outer layers of sedimentary rock. So the oldest rock's at the center. The igneous is this magenta here that you see pushed up and helped create this formation. These outer layers are sedimentary. The very, very center is igneous. So how we're going to depict that, you could do a number of different things. You could just draw this really cool structure, or go ahead and sketch the structure and then try to do a pie slice cutaway. And maybe I'll try that and then see if it works. I have no idea. We'll try it and see if we have enough time, because at least we can start it. What I would do then is I'm going to give myself a top of the image here, which is actually I'm going ahead, and this is the cliffs above it, and that helps me. I'm just grounding myself here literally, so I get the scale. All right, now this is very ovally. Now, I don't necessarily want that to be a closed oval, but I was just wanting to get as my shape down. So come off here, and I'm going to show the outer edges of the outer rims there. So now I'm trying to get that topographical look. Looks like a crater impact, but it's not. Again, I don't necessarily want that line to show after I sketch in the topography here. But see, I'm trying to get this, to look like a rim. So pencil does help with that. And then there's, another ring, and there's multiple rings. You don't want to like draw a hard line. I'm doing a dotted line, really do dashes. And then again, bring that topography down. And then do the same thing, just going round. Oops, I think I wanted, it'll be back. Thank you very much. Okay. See how that's starting to show some of the topography. Try not to be too like exact. You want this to look really random. That is not water in there. That's just kind of a relic of the kind of the, I think, the paint or coloring that they did to show different formations. Now, what we might try to do just for fun. Looks like it does have a bit of a base. And it's like these are bajadas, we call them out here. I'm going to try to sketch a little pie slice. Bah, let's do it. I'm going to use this as a guide, but I found this is really quite terrible. I think I'm going to do my own version of this. I just want a slice showing the sedimentary and igneous. So here I've got my topography here. I'm going to go ahead and let's just do our own little magma here. And it appears that the magma is, at least in that sketch, kind of comes up at the edges. And then it just sort of formed a little bulge here like that. No, that didn't work. I'm backing up. See, I found that diagram was really bad. I think we can do a better job. Let's go out on a limb here and just do a magma kind of bulge, and then we can show the sedimentary layers in between, like so. Where would we, so we can make this here's our pie slice here. I'm totally making this up as I go, so you can do that. You can do anything you want. So here's our slice into the earth. So we'll make this our, see, they went up and did that. I'm just going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say, okay, the magma came up here. You could end it earlier. And then match your sedimentary layers here, like so. And that'll give us at least a feeling for it. Is it 100% correct? No. But we can have fun with it. You can do some more research on this. There's tons of science papers on this. I got I'm probably way too much magma there. I think I could noodle on this all day, but it's just kind of fun we're trying to envision something unseeable. Of course, they can do it with LIDAR. I think it's called, is it LIDAR or ground penetrating radar? I'm not sure what they use in geology. But this gives us just some fun things to work from. Right, let's label this so I can get drawing. This is the Richat structure. It'll be fun to see what we all come up with. The Eye of Africa. Let's see what we can get in the way of colors here. I'm going to do some, now remember, we're looking at an enhanced NASA here. So this is not reality. It's very much, let's flip back for a minute. Very much, sorry. We'd have to go back into the video, but it's just very much sandstone colors. This is highly enhanced. So you can, use a wash of your burnt sienna to get a base colors in here. And we're going to not color in the cutaway. Not yet, till we decide what we want to do with that. Right now, I just want to kind of get my main reshot. So you can go in, create some darks with the indanthrone and burnt sienna. See, I'm getting like just a kind of a mottled look here. Maybe toss in a little magenta just to give it a little bit more brightness. And we want to show, okay, here's the center. Then we've got the lighter colors on the top. Use your thumb to clear that. Let's see. I want that to dry a little bit more. I don't want this to stand out too much either, but so what do you think? Should we do like bright magenta here to show magma, or do we want to be a little bit more subtle? I think it'd be kind of shocking to make it too bright magenta. So I'm going to go ahead and water that down. See the presence of a little bit of the burnt sienna in here gives the magenta a nice texture. You notice that? That isn't normally part of that, which is kind of fun. And then you can choose some other colors if you like, maybe some yellows, or turn this, let's turn it orange. That's a good idea. And kind of muddy. Oof. Oops. Come on. My phone. Who thought I would be arguing with my iPhone this whole time? Please come back. Okay, hold on. Yes, thank you very much, iPhone. All right. So maybe a kind of a cool orangey color for one of them. Just to show the sedimentary layers. This brush is a little fat. It's also very wet right now. Okay. Probably got too much water in the belly. And maybe we'll do some bluey purple. Tell you what, I'm going to switch to my water brush because it's ironically a little easier to control right now. All right. Let those dry. We'll come back. Also want to, I lost my brownie browns in the palette here. But I wanted to just fill that in before I move on. Oh, wow. And that's going to be wet. So when I turn the page, it's going to be interesting. I better fix that. I'll have to let those dry and come back and get my contours back up. Oh dear, that's going to be very wet. So I have like 1 minute. Let me finish writing a little bit down here. This is in the Adar region of Mauritania. Let's get some scale. You can either write, right on that if you want, or down here, but it's 25 miles in diameter. and an igneous intrusion. In the sedimentary layers. I have to pick some other colors for those and do multiple arrows so we show, these are all sedimentary. I've got to let that dry. I'm going to have to blot that so it just doesn't go totally crazy when I turn the page. I'll put a protector as we move on. Actually, I'll leave that open while I do the next session or section. And moving on. What else is there? Oh my gosh, this is a huge continent. So there's so much. We are heading not too far away in Mali, I believe, where there was found this crazy stuff, which is sand that was fused by lightning. It becomes a rock known as fulderite, which is silica, and called fossil lightning. The lightning strikes obviously introduce extreme heat, melting the quartz in the sand, creating a glassy mold that cools into tubes or branching structures. And when they're made of silica like this so in the Sahara, where it's mostly sand, it's obviously silica. Fulderites are classified as the mineraloid lechatellurite. So how do we depict this? This is where you will, having dark paper would be really awesome for this. So those of you doing toned paper, you're kind of ahead of us. I'll probably end up doing a sketch of a version of this. I'll pull this over. And then do dark around it to emphasize the how light it is and that it's nearly clear. It's not 100% clear. So I think what would be fun to do is two illustrations. So one would be, how is this formed? And the other is, what is formed? So you could do here's a little diagram. Here's the sand. And we can do a cartoon kind of lightning strike, right? So here, pow. And then you've got we're just doing a little, this is, mostly cartoony, right? You can't really draw what's happening and how big they are. And we'll make this sand colored. We'll make that yellow. And showing the, 1700 degrees Celsius. Whoa. And then an arrow. And you can just take a little piece of that. You don't have to draw the whole thing. I kind of want to do the branchy bit. So I'm just going to kind of create my own version of this, showing branching and the kind of tube-like structure, which is characteristic. And what we'll do is use neutral tint and shadows and try to make it look transparent. It's going to be hard on white paper. So let's start with I'm going to go ahead and do my sand in here. My sand is going to be pinky colored. Do I want to do ink over that? I'm not sure yet, probably, but. And you could come back over this with white gel. Maybe I'll do that. Once I've laid down paint over pencil though, you're still going to get that dark. I should have waited on that. Once you lay down paint over pencil, you can't really erase it again, which is interesting. But this is like cartoon lightning. So I've elected to do this rather than the white. I'll say I'm capturing the strike itself, and then the fused silica is what comes out of it. So you could do storm clouds, you can do whatever you want to kind of make that fun. Now, what am I going to do? I think the thing to do is to paint around this first. Okay. Make a not too dark, but what do you think? Should I make it dark, or like it's sitting on the sand? That might be a better depiction for the journal, because I think if I just did a dark blob around it, it would be like, what the heck is that? So I'm changing my mind here, and I'm going to make paint around it with sand color, probably a slightly darker version, but dark enough that it's going to enhance. So get a nice sharp sharp tipped brush so you can keep away from the make it nice and raggedy. Oops, see, I just accidentally filled that one in. I'm going to just use my finger to wipe it out. Now I can go back and yeah, I like that. I'm glad I elected to do that. Then we can do some shadows. Now it looks like it's just lying on the sand, which is a lot, I think, worked better for me. I think I'll hit this with a little bit more color. And we'll put a scale on there. So and then the way we want to show kind of keep doing that. I need to clean brush, clean water first, get it damp in here, and then we'll add neutral tint and shadows to again, not a ton. Get a tissue here in case we get too much. You want to go really light. I'm going to go darker on the lower part, like so. Oh, come back. Come on. Oh boy. It just likes to be teased. Okay. Oh, it's not showing. So I'm going darker on giving it a little bit of what shape. You can barely see it here, but I just want to little bit of that. I'm going to leave that just to give it some depth. And then the thing what you want to do, it's still too wet now. I'll see if I can show you just on a tiny corner. You want to come in on the bottom side. Just a little bit. Like so. If I get it too dark, I can always come back and lift it out, which is what I like about the neutral tint. So you're showing that this is a come back, a mineral sitting on the surface, which is kind of fun. See how that works? Oh, that's going nice. So we can, add just a few little, oh, I blurted that. That's what's nice about neutral tint is I can go in and pick that up. Like so. That I'm going to leave that for now. And I like it. It shows what's happened here. Let's see what happens if I write on this. It's dry enough, 1700 degrees. And then this is here. This is number 7. Fold your right. And this it's not big. We're going to say this is oh gosh, let's just call it 3 inches because it's just a little piece like the person's holding. And this is silica. And this is lightning fused quartz in the sand. So I think, let's see. Oh yes, we want to be sure to ID it as a mineraloid. Silica fulgurites. Are lectellurites. It's a mineraloid. All right, time to head on. I don't think I'm going to mess with that. Okay. One more. And where are we going? We're actually going to leave the Sahara. I think I went backwards here. Ha! My little stars were wrong. This should have been the star here. We're going to Nigeria, to this cool place called Zuma Rock. This is a huge monolith, 2,300 feet plus tall. It is a Precambrian igneous intrusion composed of gabbro, which is a coarse-grained basalt, and granodiorite, which is similar to granite, but with more feldspar. So it is named Zumwa by the Zuba people, place of the guinea fowl, and loads, as you can imagine, lots of local legends about evil spirits dwelling in the belly of the rock. It's quite a landmark, quite huge in this region. So fun to draw this one. Let's scooch that over for a minute. And actually pencil first, because I want to make sure I get my proportions right. This is actually a challenging one to draw. It looks easy, but we don't want to mess up the proportions. So either end, and then I'm gonna do just a light. I'm gonna attempt first sketch. Goes way up here, and then down pretty quickly here with sorry, a little extension there. But what I'm going to do is use my like measuring thing again, and at the tallest point I'm measuring this way, like how tall it is from the base to the top. Then I'm going to count 1, 2, it's about 3. So if I make the base here-ish, did I get this right? 1, 2, nope, it is way off. So really good to do this, right? Check your proportions. I think I got that a bit better. I might have to pull that. 1, 2, 3, much better. So it comes down, it's a little bump there. We've got, mark the trees here. It's got a bit of a crown, kind of like so. And we've got some weathering here. Oops, the weathering is not quite there. It's a little bit over here. The weathering does not quite match up, but you can see it. It's part of the same weathering. Few in here. Don't go too crazy. And then the kind of dark streaks is either water or geology. I didn't look up if that is geologic or water stains. But that would be good to know, wouldn't it? I think we can start with that. I'm going to do a light gray single wash. I make my gray using indanthrone and burnt sienna. And this is a warm gray, which is what this is. But let's be sure to leave the lighter spots. So I'm getting it wet first before I apply a lot of color. So you might have to do a few passes in here to get the color the way you like it. Got a lot of glare going on, so I'm not seeing it as clearly as I want. Let's see. Some more streaks in here. It looks like that there's just a little bit of vegetation on top. It's kind of a cloudy day, so it's not showing well. But I think we've got just a little bit of dark green going on. And then I want to create some nice dark green and then some light green. And it's okay if it's a little mucky in your palette, because I think it works better when it's not like a perfect green, because then we can go in and you get that nice varied landscape. The darker trees here. And then it looks like you want to put a line of darker green at the base and let it bloom. And then we're going to get that forested look, letting it bloom, and then we can fill in a bit. If you want, you can add the sheep. Come back. Come on, apple. Don't make me keep doing this. Thank you very much. Okay, so need to get my streakies in there. I think what I'll do is use the neutral tint. I need just a little bit of moisture, not too much. And you can just go in. Like so. And I think that that's going to give the look we're after. I mean, it'd be so easy to just going to spend all day on this. See how I've let my my brush separate, so it's actually creating nice little uh like little forks. And there, so I think this is going to be great. And we'll just have to like keep working down and down and down. Oh my gosh. A little bit of dry brush. Okay. I'm going to start wrapping that up. Since the camera decided to go this. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, so interesting. So my perspective changed a little bit. Need to build this out. I put my trees too high, so it actually covered up part of the rock, but that's okay. So this is 7. So this is our last one. Zuma. Oops. In Nigeria. And it is a Precambrian igneous intrusion. Come back. It is gabbro. Granodiorite or diorite. I'm not sure. Actually, we'll say plus. And it is 2,379 feet tall. Nice. Okay. Wonderful. Wow, we made the time. How fun is that? So I'm going to stop the share, get rid of my dumb iPhone. Let's see. I'm going to go to gallery view and remove the spotlight. There we go. Fun. Oh, those were interesting. I just learned so much on these. So tell me, who wants to share what they did? I know it's impossible to finish everything, but just maybe a little bit of what you've got. Who wants to be brave and share up? Nobody? Come on. Yay, Cindy. Okay, Cindy, let me spotlight you. Fantastic. Oh, I love that. Nice. Good mushroom rock. Very cool. Who else? Tiffany. Yay. Wait, let me spotlight Tiffany.
Ooh, nice.
I'll get Jan after Tiffany. Ooh, you did it. Yay. Good wet on wet. Just the color, right? Well done. Nice job. Oh, and you went for the blue behind the white desert. Good job. Nice one. Look at how far you got. You got much farther than I did. Well done. Good colors. Yay. Let me find Jan. Let's see. Jan, wave you. There you are, Jan. Okay. There we go. Oh, so probably have to pull it back toward your head. No.
Well, I don't
The
know.
blur, you have to find
working.
where the blur is.
Okay, that isn't working today.
Okay, so go forward again. Try forward.
It's because
Keep
of the
going.
background.
Yeah, keep going. Keep coming forward. You got to get close to the camera, I think.
No.
No, it's the blur.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. No worries. All right, Sue. Whoever else wants to go, use the actual raise hand feature, then I can find you. Yeah, Shanna's got that. Oh, look what you did with the Folderite. How fun is that?
Oh.
How did you do that so quickly? Did you use a marker? Well done. Nice one. Perfect. Okay, see, got to think out of the box.
Wow, that's nice.
She did it. I love it.
Nice.
Good proportion on the Zuma too. Yay, well done, Sue. Okay, let's do Shanna. Oops, where'd you go? Okay.
Okay, I have the background on.
Oh, yeah, it's really hard when
Do you guys remember how to take that off?
on the video where it says video down below, click the up arrow.
I don't have the video.
Oh, are you on an iPad? Let's see.
No, I'm on a screen, but
There should be, it says audio and video down on the lower left on mine.
yeah. Usually there's like a.
You have to scroll down for it. We're in the chat bar.
Oh.
No, I'm not in the chat.
Huh.
Okay, well, maybe.
Effects, background.
You have to look really quick while they're there.
There we go.
And then this one, oh, it didn't even go.
There we go. Yay!
But I got some acrylic brushes from a friend, so I was trying those.
Nice.
Oh, very weird.
The color was like crazy good.
Yeah, because it's acrylic markers.
Wow. Oh, I thought it turned out really nice.
Right. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Done.
Even that little.
Trying. I know it's like this. It's like millimeters where it.
Yeah. Where it thinks.
Well, thank you. Anyone else want to share? Well, I'm going to have, I'll finish these up probably later today. I've got to get out and help my husband do some yard work because we've got paying for a dumpster and we've got to fill it up with all the slash from the construction. So I've got to go do some unskilled labor. That's my job. He's the skilled labor. I dig ditches. So, nice. Thank you, everybody. What are we doing next? We'll head into Europe, I think. I think that's the next phase, the way we go around the world. And then Asia and the Oceanias. So that's going to be fun. If anybody has ideas of and cool stuff about in those regions that you think would make a nice subject, email me. And I will put in the chat, as always, thank you so much for coming. And if you like these free workshops and practices, I've got a little tip jar. I'm putting the link there. Thank you so much. And I'll have the video up as well. Even with my dumb iPhone, I've got to figure out why it's doing that. All these new updates apparently are really bad. Don't do them if you have Mac. Wait till they get the bugs out. All right. Everybody have a
Thank you.
Rest of
Thank you, Roseann.
All right. Thank you. You rock. Oh, how cute. Oh, the geology puns are endless. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.